Hey everybody, if you're wondering how you can utilize tarot in your everyday, you have come to the right place. Welcome, my name is Seth. I run Comingouttarot.com. You can always find out more about me over there. But while we're here, we're talking about astrology and tarot and how you can utilize it in your everyday. So a couple different ways to approach this, and I'm going to walk through it with my handle deck, which conveniently has some attributions of planets and other astrological symbols on the majors. Excuse me. Now, depending on which deck you have, they may have associated different planets or different astrological symbols with each of the major cards. Or if you don't have it on a deck, you may have read about it somewhere in a book, or like another friend of mine, you may have assigned your own astrology to each of the cards based on your understanding of the nature of that card. Either or any of all of these are fine, acceptable, useful. None of them is right. I'm going to use the handle because it's an easy illustration for me to share with you how an artist has assigned the planets and the astrology to each of the cards so that you can have a strong visual representation of what I'm talking about. So there are a couple of different ways that you can utilize this in your everyday. When you're doing your readings, if you're pulling a card for yourself every day, or if you want to better understand yourself and your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, whichever one is needs a little more insight for you. Once you know what those are or which approach you'd like to take, then you can start working with these astrological and planetary signs. So I'm going to share with you the lineup of the planetary and astrological signs that exist in the handle, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of these. You can also utilize this for timing. So if you understand the timing associated with the astrological sign, you can have a point of reference for when something might happen or has happened. All right. Why am I already forgetting this? I'm pretty sure the Fool. Hold on. For some reason, my brain went tongue-tied on the Fool, and I completely forgot what this planet was. I'm pretty sure it's Pluto, but let me just double check so that I don't lie to you. Shit, how did I lose it already? Anyway, sorry, let me come back to this one. I'm pretty sure it's Pluto, even though Pluto has a totally different symbol. Oh, no. Uranus? This is one of the weird, funky ones that I always have trouble with. Nope, I'm going to come back to it. All right, easy ones. Mercury is often and most often associated with the magician for all of the properties that Mercury has. That tricksterness of Mercury and the tricksterness of the magician. So not unusual to see Mercury assigned to the magician. We have a moon assigned to the high priestess. Not unusual to have this crescent moon assigned to the high priestess because of the nature of the work that she does and how she's recognized, her internal work. For the Empress, as you can imagine, we have Venus. It's not unusual to have Venus associated with the Empress just because of the pure femininity around the Empress. Then we get into some of the astrology. Aries is always, or has always been associated with the Emperor, which always made me laugh a little bit. That in most decks, the Emperor is this old, curmudgeon-y kind of guy, but in this deck, he's young, virile, just like all of the Aries that we or how we tend to think about Aries. Hierophant is nearly always, I don't think I've ever not seen it associated with Taurus. You'll also note that as far as months go, 4, April, 5, May, Gemini then therefore lines up with the lovers and the couple that we see here, also 6, so it's not unusual to see Gemini on 6. And now we're going to throw off that number system here with the Chariot. We've got Pisces aligned with the Chariot. It is a water element card. But I think it's interesting to think about Pisces aligned with the Chariot. How does that strike you? Also, we've got Leo assigned with strength. This is often where Leo lands, is with strength. Scorpio. Did I just make that up? I think I'm actually looking at... No, Scorpio's death card. This Virgo. Virgo is aligned with the Hermit. I'm losing my astrological symbols. With the Wheel of Fortune, we have Jupiter. I think it's interesting to have Jupiter assigned to the Wheel of Fortune, especially as we think about this as something in the universe making changes for us. Think of Jupiter, Zeus, pulling his strings and making things go the way they want them to go. Libra, as you can imagine, Libra is quite often normally associated with justice, especially if it's in position 11. Hanged Man, we've got, I believe this is Neptune, if I'm correct. Yep, Neptune associated with the Hangman. Also, I forget what this letter is in the Jewish alphabet, but I think it's about fishing. Sorry, having trouble getting hold of the card. Death. Cap, associated with death. Sag, associated with Aeon or Temperance in most decks. This one took me a minute to remember what it is because the symbol is so very different than what I'm used to seeing. This is actually, I think it's Capricorn. Yeah, this is Capricorn associated with the devil. Normally we would see Capricorn look kind of like an N and come down and swirl. This Capricorn symbol is way different. And so it took me a minute to actually realize what he had drawn on there. Tower, we've got Mars, or the symbol most associated with male. Aquarius, associated with the star. This one also took me a second because I didn't quite recognize it the first time I saw it. This is Uranus, associated with the moon. I think it's interesting the moon is not associated with the moon. Normally Uranus also has another line coming down and a little like circle underneath it, and we don't see that here. The sun is associated with the sun, as opposed to the moon being associated with the moon. This one took me a second too. This is Pluto. Do we need any more breath? And sorry, I'm getting text from my husband. I only have one. And Saturn is associated with the universe or the world card. So you can dig deeper into two things. You can dig deeper into your sign. So for example, if you're a Taurus like me, you can meditate on the Hierophant and what the Hierophant has to say to you about what it means to be a Taurus. Or in your readings, if you're wondering about timing, you can utilize this to know that the timing you're looking at is roughly end of April, beginning of May. So, a couple quick ways you can use tarot in your everyday. I hope this is helpful. If it is, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep track of each other. Hit the thumbs up if you do find that this content is useful, and share it out with your friends so they can take advantage of the message as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.